Oh, in the
Yeah.
all falls down.
The real one, baby.
I'm telling you.
Chi-town.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys know, R. Kelly has been fighting this case for a couple of years now, and there's some more information that just came out about the case. Apparently the parents of some of the kids that were involved have been doing some weird things pretty much. So I figured I'll go ahead and get more into the case with y'all and break down my opinions, because you know, being from Chicago, R. Kelly is still a legend here. So it's like what he did was wrong, but I feel like there's way more to the situation. I feel like this evidence kind of shows how much more there is to the situation, and I find it quite weird that I don't find it more prevalent over YouTube and more people aren't talking about it on the blogs and things like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video, y'all.
We're about to check it out. Y'all ready? I'm ready. So it reads, the mother says, you should text him and be like, you know you're going to be my boo, and see what he say. To which Jane, the daughter, responds, LMAO. Jane, the daughter, traveled to meet the defendant, R. Kelly, in Stockton, California, where he was performing on May 1st, 2015. She stayed in contact with her mother the entire time. At one point, Jane explained to her mother how she ended up in Stockton to see the defendant performance. I told you. He asked me, did I want to come to the show? I said, of course. And he said, okay, then let's pack this stuff up. He was even putting his stuff in my bag. Jane and her mother remained in constant communication before the defendant's show.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there. Oh, by the way, y'all, go check out his channel. I'll add his information below because I'm reacting to his video. So go ahead and show some love to the original video. But this I find quite weird. You let your 16, 17-year-old daughter go travel to a different state, even though you're in contact with her the whole time. You're leaving her, you're letting her travel alone with this grown man, like, and then you're coaching her, like, tell him you're gonna be my boo, like. Aren't you a little too old, one, to be talking like that, and then to tell your daughter to talk like that to a grown man? This is exactly what I thought it was going to be, kind of. Like, this is exactly how I thought the situation was playing out. Like, there's more people involved. It's not just R. Kelly. It's the managers, it's parents, it's like everybody. So we're going to keep going.
Jane's mother instructed her about what to wear and made suggestions about how she should behave at the defendant's show. Y'all, this is crazy. The mother proceeded to tell the girl I would blow him little kisses and wink at him and bite the tip of your finger, mess with him real good.
What type of shenanigans? What hood rat? Okay, I'm sorry. I went a little too far. Why would bite the tip of your finger to a grown man? Like, why? What? You should be ashamed of yourself. Really.
Do something seductive, then make a little silly face. LOL. Jane and her mother continued to text throughout the defendant's performance. At one point, Jane and her mother exchanged the following text messages. Uh-oh, let's hear what this says. Jane, he's singing this whole show to me. Mom, LOL, too funny. Jane's like, for real, LMAO. Jane then says, this man in love. The mom responds, oh my God, you're gonna marry him and have his babies. Girl is 17 years old. R. Kelly was how old at this time? This is crazy. The mom says, LOL, my son-in-law gonna be older than me.
What? Now, this is a clear example of parents trying to be friends with their kids. Like, what, you think this your best friend? Like, but then you're talking about my grandson-in-law gonna be older than me. How does that even sound cute coming out your mouth? Like, how did that even sound right or respectable? Like, where's your mindset at as a mother? No wonder your daughter's 17 up there trying to seduce a grown-ass man. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Are you telling me that R. Kelly is older than the mother of this child? It don't get much worse. This is... What? Y'all, this ain't over. There's more. Mom says, too dang funny. That is not funny. It's funny, but not in a good way like she's making it seem to be. Mom continues, well, you better get signed first, then married second. Mom continues, he's gonna seduce you tonight. What is the mom implying when she says that he's going to make advances, sexual advances towards this child? And the mom is okay with this. Let's finish. Jane says, LOL. Mom says, you have to give him a massage before you go to bed. You know what she mean by that, right? Let's make that assumption. I always say it ain't good to assume, but let's make that assumption. And Jane's like, LMAO, no, I doubt it. And this is what the mom says. Girl, you better or he will get someone else too.
So the little girl said, "No, I doubt it." Like maybe like she's like clearly a little maybe scared, maybe a little nervous to do things like that right away. And her mama gonna say, "Oh, you better." Like, I mean, at this point, nothing shocks me because it's kind of like this is what R. Kelly was kind of saying. Well, I don't think he said it, but a lot of people was saying like a lot of the parents were backstage bringing their kids to him. Like they were like dressed alike, like their daughters, like the mom and the daughter were both are flirting with him. Like I think that's how a lot of the situations start. Like even with Aaliyah, like he wrote her first album and everything. How did he get in the studio with the 15? Because I think she was 15 at the time making that album. How did he get in the studio with her for that whole time to record a whole album? How did you guys even meet backstage? Like the parents had to be somewhere in the mix of that. And then I think her dad was his drummer or something like that. So it's a lot of intermingling, a lot of, oh, here's my niece, here's my daughter, here's this. Like a lot of that. Let me refer you, like referral type stuff. Like it's, I don't know. Poor kills.
They're not talking about no
Yeah,
massage. They can't possibly be talking about, or he'll get somebody else too. Come on now. Jane Mothers continues to encourage her to seduce the defendant. At one point, Jane told her mother that she caught feelings for the defendant. Ooh. According to Jane, she and the defendant had sexual intercourse for the first time after the concert. Told you. Was I right or was I right? The mother was encouraging her to sleep with R. Kelly that night. It's crazy. At
Okay. I think that's pretty much
no point
it.
during her travels with the defendant in California in April and May of 2015 did Jane disclose that she was 17 years of age or that she had lied to him about her age. After the trip to California, Jane traveled to meet the defendant in Las Vegas where he was performing. No rational juror can conclude that the defendant enticed, persuaded, induced, or coerced Jane to travel to California. Jane's contemporaneous conversations with her mother show that the defendant invited Jane to join him and she excitedly accepted. When her mother asked her when he asked her to travel, Jane told her mother, whenever I tell him I can. Tomorrow if I choose. By her own admission, Jane chose to travel with the defendant because she wanted to. Now, this part right here kind of confused me a bit. It says, while this court concluded that Jane's parents' testimony was not relevant for the proposed defense counsel sought to introduce it. Jane's text message with her mother introduced this government. Like I said, that last part kind of confused me a bit.
Okay. That confused me too. I'm going to end the video on that note right there. Well, stop his video because I got a lot to say. I'm confused. So the jury decided this whole section of evidence wasn't relevant because why? But you brought it up. Like this shows how the whole system was kind of set up. Kind of. I mean, the only part we're missing is like the manager role and like, the other behind the scenes on R. Kelly's team part. But this kind of shows this all wasn't just on him. The parents should be charged. The team members should be charged. Like, it's just like unfair. And then you say it's not relevant. This is very much relevant to his whole case. And there's some more evidence coming out that the Jane girl that they were talking about in this evidence, discussion or whatever, affidavit, whatever y'all call it, was Jocelyn. And Jocelyn is one of the girls that were just like on the interviews and stuff with Ariel or whatever her name is, Azriel or something. And now they're supposedly engaged now. Like, that literally just came out there. R. Kelly and Jocelyn is now engaged. So I find that all weird. And then I also find weird that, what else I find weird? I find weird that he got 30 years. And then Ghislaine Maxwell, if you guys aren't aware of her, she was the vice president to like the Epstein Island case. So she was like right directly under Epstein. She kind of cohorts the whole system of the sex ring for the kids, basically. So she was working with nonprofit organizations, you know, taking kids, like kidnapping kids technically out of Haiti, bringing them to the island, you know, doing the things that we can't speak of on YouTube that they were doing to the children, unfortunately. It's just, and she was just recently sentenced and got 20 years. So I don't think that's fair at all. I feel like she should be in jail for the rest of her life because it seems like her crimes were way more detrimental. I don't know. Her crimes were way more horrible. They were way more horrible. They were involving like toddlers and kids. Like, you were taking kids overseas. You were kidnapped. Like, it's just a whole bunch of more things that should have got her way more time. But I just find it weird that she's like a white woman or whatever, or Russian or whatever they call her, and she gets 20 years, but then you get R. Kelly, who clearly shows that he's not the only one that needs to be implicated in this case, and he gets 30 years. And it's kind of unfair. But I don't know. I can't really judge because I feel like karma comes around in all different type of ways. So this is just their karma that they're going to have to deal with, and maybe Ghislaine will get a different type of karma, like after her 20 years are up. Who knows? But if you guys like this video, or if you have comments on it and what you think about it, comment in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, share this video. I find it kind of wild, but I'm going to leave it at that because that is crazy. Also, go check out my Epstein video because I did try to break it down, but they cut off my audio because I guess it got a little too deep. So if you want to know more about that, check out that video, and I'll be back with more, all right? Bye.
Oh, when you're all falls down.
Real one, baby.
I'm telling you.
Shot Town stand up.